We're joined now exclusively by the U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Jeh Johnson. And Mr. Secretary, thanks for coming in. Before we get to that, I want to ask about what you just heard, the report about Kayla Miller. You heard her say that she knew the risks of going into a place like Syria. The State Department advises U.S. citizens not to do that. Given that, what should the U.S. responsibility be to go in and get hostages?
Well, obviously, we're learning as much as we can, as quickly as we can, about Ms. Mueller's situation. Our thoughts, our prayers, our concerns are with her family right now. You're correct. The State Department advises against travel in that particular part of the region right now. It is dangerous. People need to be cautious. And we do what we can to ensure the safety of Americans who travel. That part of the world right now is obviously a very, very challenging situation.
Should the U.S. be responsible for going and rescuing hostages who are going, even though the U.S. State Department says it's just too dangerous?
Well, we know from prior examples that where we can, we do our best to secure the safety of Americans held hostage by terrorist organizations. And so it's something that we continually evaluate our ability to do in this region. But it is a very, very challenging situation, obviously.
Okay, so let's talk about the jihadists overall. Americans looking at this, looking at the fighting, probably constantly saying, how does this affect me? How does this affect the United States? And say, why does it matter? John Steinbeck, who is the FBI's counterterrorism division head, told CNN's Pam Brown about an example of why it should matter. Listen to this.
There are ISIS cells in the U.S.
There are individuals that have been in communication with groups like ISIL who have a desire to conduct an attack, yes.
That are living in the U.S. right now.
Correct.
People who are in contact with ISIL living in the U.S. right now. How many are we talking about?
Well, Dana, I would put it this way. We've evolved to a new phase in the global terrorist threat in that 13 years ago, when we were attacked on 9/11, we had a relatively conventional command and control structure from core al-Qaeda that would deploy operatives to commit terrorist acts. The situation now is more decentralized, more diffuse, and frankly, more complex in that terrorist organizations such as ISIL or al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula use the internet, use social media to communicate and to inspire acts of terrorism in individuals' home countries. And for that reason, we need to be particularly vigilant here at home, working with state and local law enforcement, working with the public through campaigns such as If You See Something, Say Something. It is a more complex situation, very clearly.
Certainly complex, but if I may, can you shed more light on what we just heard? Do you have a handle on who the individuals are and how many there are in the United States who are in contact with ISIL?
The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security do a pretty good job of tracking the travel of individuals of suspicion of investigating potential acts of terror or material support to terrorism. Just this past Friday, there were arrests of 5 individuals who were providing material support allegedly to ISIL. So our law enforcement community does what I believe is a pretty good job of tracking these individuals, and we work with them to track the travel of individuals.
Can you give us a sense? Are we talking about 5, 10, 100, 1,000? Give us the context of the.
Well, what I can say is this: the numbers that we see are larger in European countries, and that's one of the reasons why we're concerned about travel to and from Europe and making sure that we've got the appropriate security assurances from countries for which we do not require a visa. But here at home, we do a pretty good job of tracking these individuals, and we have, in a number of instances, arrested people for material support, for attempting to travel to Syria, for example. Obviously, there's an unknown factor, but I believe we have the systems in place to do a pretty good job of tracking these individuals through law enforcement, through travel, through our efforts to monitor what they're doing.
So people should feel you got it covered.
People should be vigilant right now. Yes, we should have a lot of confidence in our Homeland Security law enforcement capabilities. We've come a long way since 9/11, but this also requires working with the public in campaigns through if you see something, say something, working with state and local law enforcement, the cop on the beat, working in the communities, which is why we're working more closely now with municipal police departments, county sheriffs, state law enforcement, through fusion centers, task forces, and so forth. Given how the Homeland Security challenges we face are evolving, it's becoming all the more important to do that.